Welcome back, everybody, to the good old hockey podcast. Shout out Nashville and your weird ass national anthem. Did you see Trevor Zegras before? He was like, that threw us for a loop. Great strategy.
Yeah, I mean, that would throw me off too, especially if you don't know it's coming.
No.
Just some dude singing the national anthem over bongos.
Bongos, yeah.
It doesn't even make sense for Nashville either.
No, not at all. But yeah, interesting take there, Nashville on the national anthem. But I guess with all the controversy with the national anthem, I guess, yeah, that was weird. I don't know why they did that, but I don't know.
The funniest thing we've seen in a very long time.
Yeah. But we have a good episode for you guys today. We're going to react to some TikTok comments because one of our videos went viral again. Had 400 comments talking about Bobby Orr and what's it called? Alex Ovechkin's legacy. So we'll get into that. But first off, I am exhausted. I just came back from Vegas. I saw the Knights play on Thursday. Went there for a bachelor party, but my entire body is sore. We also played a beer league game last night, which we'll talk about. But
how was that game?
It was good. So the Knights played the Boston Bruins, and the Bruins are a hard team to watch at this point because, Knights are a great team, and it was 0-0 through the first half of the game. Midway second, Vegas finally scores. And Boston just did not look like they really had – they'd had a couple good opportunities. Swayman looked like Swiss cheese. Like, he just did not – I don't know what's going on with him. Mm-hmm. His last couple games, he's had pretty shaky games. Maybe they're, accepting the tank like we told them to. I don't want to, harp on them too much because we did tell them you need to tank.
Yeah.
So, they're doing everything right like we said.
You're welcome, Boston.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Yeah, exactly. You're welcome. But, yeah, overall, it was – cool atmosphere. Knights games are always pretty cool. Just a little tacky, like they always are, like the intro.
Yeah.
That's Vegas, though. It's cheesy.
Rip off the shark head, skate through a
through a night helmet, yeah. But yeah, I mean, overall, it was a cool experience. The downtown, being on the strip, during a game is always cool. You see a bunch of crazy jerseys. So I wore actually Boston Bobby Orr jersey, which is funny from last week. Episode. I said that I liked Bobby Orr. I always will defend him. He's number 4 like me. He copied me. But I was pretending to be a Boston fan and just in there high-fiving people. Yeah. And I can't root for the Knights as a Sharks fan. But yeah, the fans you really see how obnoxious Boston fans can be. Yeah. And there's a dude behind us that was talking about the Red Sox being really good this year, which if you know anything about baseball, it's just not going to happen.
The Sox,
they're
going to be great this year.
The Pack the Car and
Pack the Car next to the where they play at
Fenway.
Yeah,
you could say that was an accent.
Worst Boston accent impersonation of all time.
It's okay. I thought about trying a Boston accent, but I was like, if I get caught, I'm screwed. They'd smell it out immediately. But the game was cool overall. I had money on the over and Boston Bruins winning. Hit the over, but not Boston winning, so not fun. But whatever. Overall, it's an NHL hockey game. I haven't seen NHL hockey for a couple years now. God, Jack Eichel. I could go on about him. He's so good. I wish he wasn't a Knight. He had this one assist that was just so pretty to watch, and just being able to watch it live after, especially watching him at Four Nations, gassing him up.
He's one of those guys that's you can watch a game and every single time he touches the puck, he does something absolutely gross. Yeah. And it's how do you do, you see McDavid, he's playing with the puck sometimes. He doesn't look all that good. Yeah. Jack Eichel, I feel every single time he touches the puck, he just looks so smooth and so fluid and effortless, and he's not trying. And then he, puts puck between his legs, goes around 2 guys. It's every shift. Yeah, yeah. No look backhand sauce across the ice that goes straight tape to some guy. And it's what on earth, dude? How do you get that good at hockey?
Practice.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Be a star at BU for a season as an 18-year-old and go on to play in the NHL for 10 seasons. But, whatever.
I guess that could have something to do with it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe not. A little bit.
Maybe. But speaking of hockey playing, we also had a beer league game last night.
Oh, yeah.
On a Sunday, which was weird. We had a little shift we had the matinee game, 3 p.m. We usually play on Tuesday nights, so usually when you guys are hearing us do these talks, you don't get like a live reaction. You get the week after. You're getting a fresh, almost 24 hours now. Mm-hmm. It was playoff game 1, and we tried pretty hard, I would say.
We went hard.
Like we always do. And I think the other team did too.
This entire league, compared to I played in the league before I moved to Boise and men's league, and nobody gave a shit. And it's almost more fun when everybody tries, which I love to make fun of people when they try hard in men's league hockey. So I'm like, this is irrelevant.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, I really want everybody to try, and I'm going to try really hard. Yeah. I'm going to show up an hour early to games and get all stretched out and warmed up.
Do the balls on the
exactly.
wall. Exactly. Yeah. We should get a game of sewer in.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Bring a soccer ball.
I think we absolutely should.
Yeah. But, personally, for my thing, I'm like, I paid $400 for this league to play. And you bet your ass I'm going to try.
Oh, yeah.
And especially, like, we're in the A League here. So, the top premier league in Boise.
Outside of the ECHL, but whatever.
Well, the ECHL, I'm saying in the state of Idaho.
Go men's league A to ECHL to the show. That's the career path me and Sean are going.
Yeah. We're going to get a contract soon.
We're getting offered.
Yeah. Think about it. The Steelheads definitely have management working that day.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe not Tuesday nights, but they did yesterday, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's a Sunday. I think, did they play last? They probably played on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we could get a contract here. But anyways, game, we started off 4-0, just pumping goals in. And we were the 4 seed playing against the 1 seed. Mm-hmm. And we just, started hot. And then as any 4-0 lead in hockey in the first period is just never safe at all. Yeah. I knew it, like the minute it happened, I'm like, they're going to come back at some point. And sure enough, I think it was like second period, they just clicked and like they were able to just kind of possess the puck a little bit better. I think we played on our heels a little bit more and just like kind of were coasting a little bit. They started 1 goal, 2 goal. We would get a goal back, score. And ultimately it came down to the last minute of the game. Yeah. And we ended up winning. So we are now going to the championship game. Yep. April 1st. What is that? 9 p.m.
It was funny.
CCU.
That game we ended up winning 6-5, right? Probably should have been 6-4. We scored an empty net goal with like 20 seconds left, and I was sitting in net, had my hands up. I was celebrating. I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't be doing this. They come down, score a goal immediately. I'm like, ah, shit.
Yeah, they pushed hard. But we got it back.
Fine.
Yeah, worked out fine. They scored with, I think there was 7 seconds left.
Yeah.
And we were like, all we got to do is just win this face-off and play this face-off a little defensively. Yeah. And we're good. And sure enough, we did it, got it down. Boom. So I'm pumped. This is my first real season of beer league too. So to be able to play in the championship, I'm like so pumped for. But
we got guys who've been playing for like years. Yeah. And still have never won a beer league championship, which is tough.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Have you ever won?
No.
Okay.
I've only played 3 seasons of beer league though.
Okay.
Last year we made the playoffs, and before I was in San Jose, it was a little bit different how they worked it out. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, I think people, when they try hard in beer league, I do laugh at them, but also at the same time, if it's a close game and it's playoffs, especially, like you bet your ass I'm going hard.
I want to say the last championship game I played in was 16s for Caja State Championships.
Yeah.
That's tough. The second year 16s.
Yeah. I know, it's been 10 years since I made a playoff debut, so I'm going to definitely try hard.
That's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think where I draw the line is like hacking the stick or like
blowing up the goalie after a puck goes in the net.
No. I think if you're like coming over top and like breaking sticks, I mean, that's where it's like I've broken 2 sticks now.
Yeah.
In the span of 2 games, by the way.
Which is wait, did you break your stick yesterday?
No. Oh. I broke the stick I started the season with. Got a new one like 2 games later, and then that game the stick broke off a slash, and it's just like that overhand.
Yeah.
I understand, like, you know, you're poking for the puck or you're trying to reach out and smack the stick. I get that. It's hockey. Like, I'm not going to complain about that, but the overhand, like, on my stick is like, dude, chill the fuck out.
Now I got a conversation about beer league reffing.
Oh my God. Let's go.
Any of you guys who play beer league out there, you know that refereeing sucks. Yeah. It just does. Refereeing in every sport in any league is not great, right? You're always going to have something to complain about, right? But in our men's league, dudes take it pretty seriously, right? There's got to be some sort of control over the game.
Yeah.
When you're out there, you don't want guys, like, we all work in the morning. We don't want to go to work all banged up, break a leg or something like that because guys were going too hard because they were pissed off. Yeah. Because calls weren't right. Yeah. Now, is that a conversation also on people need to chill out a little bit in beer league? Yes, absolutely. But a lot of the guys in our league, you know, we played junior hockey. We played pretty competitive youth hockey. Like, we have some form of background playing, like, high-level hockey. At least most of the guys do. So it's like, guys are going to take it kind of serious. Guys are going to get pissed off. Guys are going to, you know, they want to win. Yeah. You got to have some sort of control over the game. Yeah, it's beer league. You know the reffing's going to suck. The guys don't care. We had a ref back in San Jose listen to music on the ice. He'd have his AirPods in, which was hilarious. Yeah. But, like, you're getting paid to be here. Yeah. You should have some sort of onus to, like, at least do your job. Yeah. Right? You get money to be out here. Yeah, you don't want to be out here reffing old dudes, right, that are going to yell at you. Yeah. But you're taking money to do it. You might as well keep some sort of control over the fucking game. Yeah. We had a game 2 weeks ago. It was last Tuesday. Yes. Where the referees did not call a single penalty in the first 2.5 periods of the game. Right? And it was getting pretty chippy. There were penalties on both sides of the ice. I get to see everything. Yeah. I'm playing in net. There were definitely penalties on both sides of the ice. And it got to a point where the refs weren't calling anything. Both teams were frustrated with the refereeing, and it boiled over. And one of our best players did something he probably shouldn't have done, but got a USA Hockey suspension for playoffs. And I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm like, if you had actually done your job, just the bare minimum. Yes. It would not be at this point, and you wouldn't have guys getting suspended. Possibility, you got a suspension for, I think it was spearing, right? Yeah. Which controversial spearing, if it really was spearing. Controversial spearing, but still, that's an intent to injure play. Like, yeah. You got to have control over the game. You're getting paid, it's like $50 an hour to be out here. Yeah. You might as well do your job. You're already here. Yeah. I don't know. It bugs the crap out of me. Yeah, because it's one of those things where it's like, dude, you're getting paid to be here. We are paying to be here. Yeah. And play. Mm-hmm. Yes, we need to chill out sometimes. I will say that. Like, there's times where we're yelling, calling for a penalty. It's like the first period, 10 minutes into the game. I'm like, boys, like we don't need to we don't need to power play here. Like, just play through it. Play through the penalties. At this point, it's playoff hockey, so the ref's whistle are going to be put away a little bit. But yeah, there is a point where it's like, okay, when it keeps happening and players are just like knowing to get away with it, call the trip on both sides and just continue the game on. That way people can chill out. It's stupid stuff like that, too, that boils over into like old dudes getting pissed off and angry old dudes. Some of them are drunk. It's men's league, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's not a formula for success. No. You're going to have players get injured. Yeah. And it's like, you don't have to be perfect. You do not have to be a perfect referee, right? No. There are 2 refs on the ice for our games at all times. Yeah. Right? You're not going to call everything. They're fine. Not going to see every offside. They're going to be in the wrong position. Exactly. And not see the offside. I get that. But at the same time, it's like, you got to at least call something occasionally and keep some sort of control over the game. If dudes start yelling, start getting too pissed off, throw them a penalty or something. Yeah. If somebody starts running around, this is a non-checking league,
Yeah.
Right? We've had multiple instances
Oh my God.
this season of guys getting absolutely blown up, right? Because nobody's prepared to take a hit in this league because of non-checking.
No, my head is down all the time. I'm looking at the puck, making sure I have the puck on my stick before.
You remember that game Chase Buning got absolutely blown up?
Yeah.
First of all, he's got like a scar on his shoulder from it. That could have been completely avoided.
Yeah.
Like the game boiled up to a point where it was like it was out of hand because the refs weren't calling shit.
Yeah.
And then you get a guy who gets seriously injured from it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, at least do your job if you're going to be out here. I tell kids this all the time because I do some coaching, right? And 2 seasons ago, we had 5 a.m. practices, or it was like 5:30 a.m. practices. And we had this one kid, he was a goalie, who he'd show up to these 5 a.m. practices and he put in almost zero effort. It's like, dude, you woke up, you got all the way out here, you got dressed, you got on the ice.
Yeah.
Why not try?
Yeah.
You're already here.
Yeah.
It's like, refs, I get you probably don't want to be doing this.
Yeah.
But guess what? You're getting paid. This is your job.
Yeah.
Why not try a little bit?
Yeah.
It just, that bugs the crap out of me.
Yeah.
I don't get why, I don't know. I should be a men's league ref and fix what's bothering me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, it's tough because, like, it is at the end of the day, it's like it's men's league hockey. Like, it's really not that deep. But like you had said, like, people are going to get competitive out there, especially late in the season when, like, that's our goal is to go win championships. I'm sorry. Yeah. Like, I go there to have fun the rest of the season. The season's super long, by the way, too. We started in, September?
Yeah. I want to say it was September we started. Our seasons are like 20-something games.
Yeah. So we started in September, and I'm now here in April, or almost April, and I want to fucking win a championship at this point. So at the end of the season, at least, like, call the bare minimum, like you said. Just like the little, I get if they want to, put the whistles away, let us have fun, but it's not like that anymore. And especially in our league when everything that's kind of happened with all these teams and like people have gotten warnings for yelling at refs, it's like, okay, well, start calling shit then.
This goes back, it's been the same teams in our league for the last 3 seasons, if I understand. It's like we've played all of these teams 15 times, 20 times.
Yeah.
There's 6 teams in our league. We play, I think, 20 regular season games. So we play each team 4 times, or 5 times throughout the season. No, 4 times throughout the season.
Yeah.
And it's like there's gonna be some sort of shit, and it's men's league, right? So dumb, stupid crap happens. On that team we played last night, one of the guys put the puck in the net after a whistle in like the first game of the season this year, and I've hated that guy ever since. Right? Like stupid shit like that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Keep the game under control at the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Just don't let it get to a point where guys are, spearing each other, fucking screaming at each other from the benches. Like, keep it under control to some extent.
Yeah.
It makes your job easier too.
Yeah.
You call a penalty here and there, and it doesn't get to that point, guess what? You don't have to deal with filing out a report with USA Hockey for a suspension.
Yeah. Yeah, that too.
It makes your job easier.
True. You don't have to go through all the paperwork. You just called it.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll move on. We'll see. So next episode, what? Oh, next episode will be before our championship game. So we'll get a little hyped up, pep talk to each other next episode. And then one after that, we'll tell you what happened. Or if you follow us on Instagram, you'll probably see it live, all the stuff that if we win.
The live stream, the celebration.
Live stream,
with the cup downtown Boise at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday night.
Yeah. I'm so down. But we had a video last week on TikTok, or I guess not last week, Saturday. Go viral. 95,000 views and 532 comments. So we're going to go through some of those comments and just react to them as we are live. I haven't looked at them all weekend because I've been in Vegas and just not wanted to get pissed off at people. First one that comes to mind here, the generational bias is absolutely absurd. Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
100%. That's what we're here. Like, I said that in the clip too. Like, in a couple years, like, we're not even going to be, not a couple years, a couple decades, we're not even going to be talking about some of the players that, not to say that Bobby Orr is going to be irrelevant, but Cale Makar and Quinn, like, some of these guys are going to overshadow these guys of the past in the next couple decades. Maybe like 40 years when we're old heads and being like, oh, you don't remember...
you don't remember prime Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, exactly. And stuff like that, which I get. It happens, but like that's how the game of hockey is going to go. Like someone's going to be better than Sidney Crosby.
Quick side note, there's this guy who goes to like, I don't know if he coaches or if he just does media or what, or social media or what, but he goes to like youth hockey tournaments and interviews some kids, right?
Yeah.
And I saw one clip the other day of like who's the most overrated player in the NHL, and it was like this 10-year-old who said Sidney Crosby, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Am I that old?
Yeah. No, yeah.
Anyways.
It feels like that. Someone said, please never podcast again. No.
Get fucked. That's going to have to get bleeped.
Nah, it's okay. Someone said, Sidney Crosby is nowhere near Mount Rushmore. At best, he's bottom half of top 10 all time, and yes, or is much better.
What? Okay. People like to say, oh, he doesn't have the awards. He doesn't have the awards, right?
He has 3 Stanley Cups. I don't
He is
give a
the
shit.
greatest player of the most competitive generation of hockey.
Yeah.
He is the best player of the most competitive, best generation of hockey. It is hands down, right? There's the best parity in the league. It's the most competitive it's ever been.
Yep.
Players are the best they've ever been. And he's been the best player, I mean, really from 2005, 2006 when he jumped into the league all the way up until like 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
And he's still performing at an elite level in his late 30s.
Yeah.
How can you say he's not?
Yeah. I know.
That's crazy to me.
I saw something someone said. They said, I think after 2000, you need to make a new mountain to carve names into, which I can agree with.
That's not
because,
a bad take.
Like I had said, like think of as Mount Rushmore, like you can't change the founding fathers of the United States of America.
I can. I will.
I will. You can't like change like those. There are the founding fathers that created America, and like if you want to look at hockey, like yes, those 4 names or how Gretzky and Lemieux definitely shaped the game into what it was. And yeah, like I could agree with that. Create a new mountain for people after 2000 that have played, because there's going to be some names that need to be etched into the golden age of hockey. After 4 Nations, we saw the rise, the popularity, and we're going to hope that, that popularity keeps going.
Who would that be for you?
After 2000?
After 2000.
Okay. After 2000's Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Not prior. After 2000s, I'd put Sidney Crosby at top, Alex Ovechkin right there with him, neck and neck.
That's your 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I feel like Connor McDavid kind of has to go there at this point, even though he doesn't have a Stanley Cup. And I want to put a goalie up there, kind of, because of just how goalies changed, how goalies have gotten better. I'm going to put Marc-Andre. I kind of want to put Patrick Waugh, but I don't.
His prime years were in the 90s.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'll put Marc-Andre Fleury.
I can't. I refuse to put Marc-Andre Fleury on
really
anything.
The dude's still playing.
I don't care.
Playing great.
This is going to be a take. This was not a take 10 years ago, but for whatever reason, I think it's nostalgia. People like to think that Marc-Andre Fleury, he's had one elite season in the NHL. His one Vezina trophy, that was by far his best season in the NHL.
Yeah.
I remember all throughout, even after their cup run in 2009,
yeah,
all throughout his career, there was this narrative that he couldn't win in the playoffs. He was not a big-time goalie. And his past 2 Stanley Cups, his last 2 Stanley Cups, he was the backup for. People like to ignore that fact that he was the backup for those 2 Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
He was really only there for that first Stanley Cup, in which that Penguins team was fucking loaded.
Yeah.
That Penguins team was insane. I can't put Marc-Andre Fleury up there.
Okay.
I think
also my list is not well thought out. Like, I'm really trying to think, who would your 4 off the top of your head? Well, let's do.
I think it does make sense to put a goalie.
Yeah.
I'm about to put 2 goalies over Marc-Andre Fleury that have not won a Stanley Cup, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But for me, that 4 spot's either Henrik Lundqvist or Carey Price.
Okay. Yeah.
Probably Carey Price.
Yeah. I was gonna put him,
but he hasn't won a Stanley Cup. Maybe Andrei Vasilevsky. Honestly, I think there's a conversation to be made. Or Sergei Bobrovsky.
We're down.
Or Connor Hellebuck.
Martin Brodeur.
No, all right. This is another take here. Martin Brodeur fucking sucked. That guy was okay. When you talk about the greatest goalie of all time, Martin Brodeur, he does have the wins record. He has like 700 wins. That's absolutely bonkers for a goalie, right?
Yeah.
Most of those wins came in the late 90s and early 2000s when he was playing on a Devils team that revolutionized the game of hockey and created the dead puck era, right?
Okay.
He was averaging like 15 shots on net a game. That's fucking nothing, first of all. Second of all, Dominik Hasek, right? He was well out of his prime in the 2000s. Wouldn't be on this list. But in his prime, when both Patrick Waugh and Martin Brodeur were playing and in their primes, Dominik Hasek won, I think it was 6 of 8 Vezina trophies in a stretch in the 90s, along with 2 Hart trophies. In the period of time where Patrick Waugh and Martin Brodeur were playing, right?
Okay.
And he was on a much worse team throughout the entire time.
Okay.
I don't think it's close. Martin Brodeur, I think, is the most overrated goalie in NHL history. Is he great? Yeah, he's top 5 in history. Okay. Skill-wise, I don't know if he's all there. There are so many guys that put over him.
I don't know. Okay. But again, the Mount Rushmore thing is so what I'm thinking here is like, who is the name then that went from changing these goalies from being god awful, standing up, kick save, like stuff like that, to then the goalies that are
Patrick Waugh.
Patrick Waugh. Okay.
Patrick Waugh. I got some guy commented on that Instagram post and said something about how there were goalies in the 70s and 80s. I was like, well, not really, right? Patrick Waugh kind of revolutionized the position when he came to the league in 1985, 1986, right?
Okay.
And he's like, there were goalies who did the butterfly before him. Like, yeah, Ken Dryden did the butterfly. It wasn't his main fucking. That's not all he did, right?
Yeah.
You don't see a stand-up goalie in the NHL now for a reason.
Yeah.
And that's because Patrick Waugh revolutionized the position. He's the guy who started that all. So it's like, to me, pre-1985, there were great goalies, yes, but the great goalie standard for then compared to what you think of now is completely different.
Yeah.
If a guy put up an .880 save percentage in the 1980s, that was considered great.
Yeah.
And it's like that's getting you cut from the league these days. Like it's a completely different sport. Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a bad idea to have its own Mount Rushmore. I'd probably go in Sid, Ovi, McDavid. That 4th spot is kind of hard for me. I want to put McKinnon up there.
Yeah.
Like McKinnon, Kucherov are both guys I would put up there.
Because let's look at it like who pioneered the golden age of hockey. Because we always have talked about how we're in the golden age of hockey. Yeah. The 4 founding fathers are people that have pioneered the golden age of hockey. I'd put Sid up there because every single player in the NHL who's a forward, I'm sure looked up to Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
Who's not like McDavid, like looking at it was like, I looked up Celebrini.
Yeah.
Bedard, like they all said Sidney Crosby was the guy they looked up to.
Yeah.
Granted, they're both Canadians, so that's probably why. Ovechkin's definitely there.
Absolutely.
I think the tough thing,
McDavid.
Yeah, you have to because it's McDavid.
He's been the best player in the league. I mean, arguably since he entered the league.
Yeah.
I think it came a little later where he was like, all right, this is the guy.
Yeah.
Where he took over for Sid, but it's still like the last 7 seasons, he's been by far and away the best player.
Yep.
Gosh, who else would you put? I feel like you could put Patrick Kane.
Ooh, I like that one.
Because he's kind of...
He revolutionized stick handling.
He did.
In of itself.
And that's... Every player nowadays wants to be like Patrick Kane. There's a reason why you see a bunch of small players in the NHL. He was a small skill guy who was so talented that he made it to the pinnacle of hockey.
Yeah. Okay, then Patrick Kane.
I think Patrick Kane is probably a good pick for that.
Yeah. Okay, final pick there.
Yeah.
Sidney Crosby, in no particular order either, but Sidney Crosby first.
Sidney first, Ovi second, for sure.
Yep. Connor McDavid and Patrick Kane are all the new founding fathers, the golden age of hockey. We can agree on that. Okay. Someone said, can you imagine if Mike Bossy wouldn't have walked away at 30 years old? He scored 573 goals in 10 seasons. Yeah. If he played 20 like Ovi, he'd be on pace for like 1,146. I agree, 100%.
Mike Bossy,
Yeah.
Remember I just said Martin Brodeur is the most overrated goal in history? Mike Bossy is the most underrated NHL player in history.
Yeah.
He was playing he was scoring on nobodies, right?
Yeah.
But he was the most prolific scorer in history. It was like 770 games. He put up 563 goals.
Yeah.
That's nutty. That is insane. He had like something like 7 straight 60-goal seasons, 7 straight 50-plus goal seasons. He retired because he scored 39 goals and said, "Yeah, I can't do this anymore. Goodbye."
Yeah.
It's insane, bro.
I'm done. This guy said Mario Lemieux, Bobby Orr, Sid, and Wayne Gretzky. I mean, it's not bad. If you leave Ovi off, that's okay. Not upset about that.
Yeah. That's what I said.
Yeah,
I said, I don't know if Ovi kicks Orr off. He might.
Yeah.
But
I know, but everyone on the internet loves to take one sentence. Someone said, quote, "I've never been a big Bobby Orr fan," talking about what Alan said. "You now have no credibility. Can't even listen to you after that." 100 emoji, eye roll emoji.
Don't
Sick,
care.
dude. You clearly did listen to us after that because you probably watched the whole clip and then commented that.
Engagement.
So. Engagement. And it's not like we're not trying to be like, we're trying to spark a conversation in that. And like, especially in comments and stuff, I wouldn't say it's like total rage bait. Like, Alan's not, if you know Alan, he's not kidding. Like, he's not kidding when he says Martin Brodeur is overrated.
He is.
Yeah. He means it.
He played 1,200 games, bro. The next, Marc-Andre Fleury now started the second most games in NHL history, right?
Yeah.
He's still 200 games behind him.
Yeah.
He just played forever.
Yeah.
Which is like, people always say Patrick Marleau, he only scored 600 goals because he played 1,700 games. Yeah, maybe. Guess what? Martin Brodeur only won 700 games because he played 1,200. Bro, imagine if Dominic Hasek played 1,200 games.
Yeah.
That'd be nutty.
No, exactly. So Bobby Orr over Maurice Richard. Dear God, this dude is definitely 85 years old. I'm
Bobby
sorry.
Orr over Maurice Richard? Yes.
You wanted Maurice Richard.
Yes, absolutely.
Just because there's a trophy named after him does not mean he's, he's an amazing player back in the 20s or 30s or 40s.
It was like 50s.
50s when he played. Still. Yeah.
If you played before the Cold War, really took off, I don't take you into account for the GOAT conversation. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was a different sport back then.
It was, yeah.
I hate when people, who's the guy, the baseball player, why am I forgetting his name?
Babe Ruth?
Babe Ruth. Yeah. People are like, oh, Babe Ruth's the GOAT of baseball. That was a completely different fucking sport when he played. He played before World War I.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Like, how is that still in your GOAT conversation? It's a different sport.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a big baseball guy. Shohei Ohtani is like infinitely a better baseball player than Babe Ruth ever would be physically capable of being. Babe Ruth was fat and smoked cigarettes and cigars while playing.
Yeah. No, he did.
It's just stupid. Maurice Richard was probably tanking stogies in the locker room between periods. Like, you can't can't compare that.
No, you can't. Someone said, Punchy312 said Bobby Orr is the greatest hockey player who ever lived. Punchy, I'm sure you're pretty old and have not watched NHL hockey recently.
He's pretty old and from Boston.
I love Bobby Orr. I wear number 4 not because of him, but like I said earlier, I was number 4 to start with, and then I saw Bobby Orr's number 4, and he's a defenseman. Watched all of his videos, love the guy. I have a jersey from him. However, Cale Makar is better than Bobby Orr.
He absolutely fucking is.
And that's just how it's going to go. Someone's going to be better than Cale Makar.
He is.
Matthew Schaefer is going to be better than Cale Makar. Someone said Gordie Howe all the way. Sorry, no. I can't get behind it.
He's a solid 4 on that list if he's not even on that list, and I don't think he is.
Wow. Someone said my confrontational take. Nice, buddy. Lidstrom over Orr. Someone said.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. He won 9 Norris trophies? This is a stupid amount of Norris trophies.
Yeah.
He was the best defenseman for years.
Yeah. It's like, I mean...
That's a guy we could put at the number 4 spot over Patrick Kane. But he was kind of keeping alive older hockey, Nick Lidstrom.
Yeah, I'd put him 90s.
Revolutionizing,
the golden age of hockey like we are now, Someone said skipping Howe is insane. Again, a lot of,
I'm sorry, it's Gordie Howe, insane. He played in 4 different decades or whatever the hell.
Someone said give a wooden stick and he would have been retired 5 years ago. with Ovi with 500 goals. He would be in top 50 players. That's just not how time went. So
unfortunately, he has 888
if a tree
right now.
If a tree was a bush, it would be a bush. But unfortunately, it's not. It's a tree.
If my grandma had wheels, she would be a bike. But unfortunately, she doesn't have wheels. So Ovi is the greatest goal scorer in history.
Yeah.
It's just
exactly
stupid.
Yeah. A lot of people saying it's or how Gretzky and Lemieux. Again, we don't disagree with that. It's just, like we said, I think I like the new golden age of hockey, Mount Rushmore, bringing that in because I think over the next couple decades, we're going to see just hockey be almost a completely different sport than...
People talk about how Gordie Howe had six Hart trophies, right? He played in the league when there were 6 teams.
Yeah.
There were, 120 players in the National Hockey League?
Yeah.
There's There's 800 currently.
Yeah.
There's some ridiculous amount of players currently. It's not the same hockey. It's not the same sport.
Wow, this guy put Gretzky, Howe, Lemieux, and Ovi on there. He agreed with you. There was one I just saw. Oh, did you see the assist that happened, or the play that happened the other night where the puck didn't touch the ice at all?
Yes.
It was like a deflection. No one prior to 2000 and when did Jamie Benn win?
2014.
Yeah, 2014. No one.
2017.
Yeah. I'll go earlier. No one prior to 1990 would be able to make that play happen. And the guys that, I forget who was the ones that did that, but
someone on the Islanders, right?
I think it was Blues.
It's the Blues. Oh, it was
it was like the third line doing that. And
yeah.
Now
I think it was Robert Thomas.
Yeah.
I think it was Robert Thomas.
Yeah.
Still.
But still,
nobody's doing that.
Nobody's doing that in the 90s.
Absolutely.
No. And I don't want to take, I hate this conversation so much because it takes away from the greatness, but I'm still doing it. Yeah, a lot of these people are agreeing. No mention of Yager is criminal. Lock me up then.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry. He's kind of a great player. Great player.
Game played hog.
Yeah.
He played 1 million games.
Yeah.
He played for 30 fucking years.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's still, his points, the amount of games he played and the fact that Gretzky's still so much ahead of him in points kind of shows that. I think if we see Alex Ovechkin play that many games, I think he's going to get a lot closer.
Yager realistically had 2 seasons where he was the best player in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Ovi has minimum 3.
Yeah.
His 3 Hart trophies. But if you look beyond that, he has 9 Rocket Richards. I want to say it's 9 Rocket Richards.
Yeah, it is.
He's the greatest goal scorer of a generation. He's the greatest goal scorer of all time. There's no way Yager is ahead of any of this. He's not ahead of Orr. He's not ahead of Howe.
Yeah.
Even though he played in a better era, he's still not ahead of those guys.
Yeah.
So it's just a stupid take.
I think the skill gap is where this conversation comes into play with Bobby Orr, Wayne Gretzky, all that stuff. Yes, their skill gap was insane. And I will always defend those 4 guys as being the best goats in all of sports. Outside of any, no one in the NFL or really, Shohei Ohtani now has probably the biggest skill gap between anyone, but the skill gap between Gretzky and the other guys are the other guys he played against is insane.
Yeah.
And it's not prevalent today.
It's the same for Mario Lemieux too.
Yes.
That guy was nasty. If that guy had a longer career, he would probably be better than Gretzky in my opinion.
Yeah.
He was scoring at an insane rate in an era past Wayne Gretzky, really, which is interesting.
Okay, this one's awesome. Mark Bishop, who has a full face on his. Let's see if we can get the view on
that. Bobby Orr is the greatest hockey player of all time.
He said, "You dismiss Orr!" Explanation point. Oh my God. Orr revolutionized the position. Ovechkin just scored a lot of goals. Yes, I forgot that scoring 800-something goals in the most insane era of hockey is just scoring goals. He just scores goals.
Just scoring goals.
Yeah.
What do you need to do to win a hockey game, Mark? Score goals.
No, this was Libel the Bible. Oh, nice, buddy. He's got a Bible in rotting hell, so we know where you're sitting at in the afterlife. Everyone forgets. Yeah, hey buddy. Everyone forgets about the goalie, Patrick Waugh. Yes, we did not mention goalies in this, which I think
goalies have their own list.
Yeah, I think
they have to have their own list.
Goalies have to have their own list and their own mountain.
Yeah, it's
like I think it's too
there's
hard to put.
There's no comparing.
Yeah,
right? You can't compare. You can't put a goalie on your GOAT list.
Yeah,
because you're never gonna have a goalie that has as much like built up. The fact that you're not saying Dominik Hasek is better than Bobby Orr and that everybody isn't saying that is exactly shows my point here. You have to have your own list.
We also can't how can I compare to you and be like, I'm a better beer league player than you?
Yeah.
How can we do that? Because you're a goalie.
Completely different. Like it's wildly different.
Yeah. It's just
If there's a goalie list, it's even though I hate Bart Brodeur, it's Bart Brodeur, Patrick Waugh, Dominik Hasek, and then the fourth spot you could put up to a bunch of guys. I honestly think Andrei Vasilevsky might be on that fucking list. Now, what that guy did in that 3-year stretch with Tampa was absolutely insane, and he's still one of the best goalies in the NHL.
Yeah.
And he's also playing in the most competitive, hardest to be a goalie period in hockey ever.
Yeah, I agree. Someone said, no offense to Mario, but how would he be on there over Gordie Howe? Well, we kinda
Mario?
talked about it. Yeah.
Who said that?
Doc.
Doc?
Yeah, I don't think it's Doc Emmerich, but
Doc, you're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Mario Lemieux has like the best point per game in the NHL history.
Yeah.
He was insane. He has like 1,800 points or some shit, and he played 900 games.
Exactly.
He missed his prime with cancer.
Yeah.
And he fucking still did that.
Yeah.
That's an insane take. That might be that might be dumber than my take.
I agree. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Bobby is the most untouchable player there. End of story. Wow.
What?
I mean, I think because for defensemen, I think that's what Sergeant C. Oh, respect, sir. He's saying Bobby's the most untouchable player there because I guess if you're saying like for defensemen, like no one's gonna come close to breaking what Bobby Orr did, which. Okay.
Kel McCarr already did.
Yeah.
Like Nick Lidstrom won like 9 Norris trophies.
Yeah, that too.
What?
Yeah, I know it's so tough. It's like I love all these what's awesome is like we're debating this. I would defend any of those guys against any GOAT of like baseball.
Oh, absolutely.
Besides Shohei Ohtani, football, maybe Tom Brady I could stick up for.
Dan Marino.
No, we're not getting into that. Anyways, all right.
I need to hop on the football podcast. Say that.
Just say that, yeah.
I think Anthony might get a little mad.
Maybe a little bit. All right, well, we got a couple storylines. We talked a lot about that stuff, which honestly I'm okay with. I feel like that was a lot of good discussion there. But Gabriel Landeskog could be making his return to the Colorado Avalanche. Last game he played was June 26th in the 2022 Stanley Cup win. May 10th, 2023, he went undergo knee surgery for his injury. Now, there's a documentary that the NHL is having him do on his, not return, but just like him as a player, I guess. They had him in the Prime NHL, the Prime video they did with the, what's it called? The documentary they did on it in Prime about the playoffs last season. He was in that, and I want to say that he's going to be back for playoffs, and I think it's.
I hope he.
Yeah,
I hope he is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of those guys that kind of proves that like the point scoring isn't the most important part of the game.
Yeah.
He's not. I mean, obviously, he's a really good player, and he'll put up around a point per game if he's healthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like the leadership and like what he does on the ice, he kind of reminds me of Joe Pavelski a little bit.
Yeah,
probably a little bit more skilled.
Yeah,
but like,
hey, Pavelski has 1,000 points.
He does. He's one of the greatest players in NHL history. We're not ready to talk about that. He revolutionized the game. Anyways,
his tipping did. Yeah,
insane.
Yeah.
Anyways. He's one of those guys where like what he brings is so much deeper than just points.
Yeah.
That it's almost like you can't overlook it. Mm-hmm. And you can tell the Colorado Avalanche are not the same team without him on the ice.
Yeah.
And
They've struggled, yeah.
Really cool that he's still like in and around the team. He's keeping involved. Obviously, the Sharks have Logan Couture, which he doesn't even show up for picture day as the team captain. That's
crazy.
That's nuts. I hope that guy I don't care about Logan Couture.
Yeah.
I don't care for him. Hope he either gets traded or medically retires because it's just either way.
Strip him with a C at least.
Yeah. How are you a captain and you don't show up for picture day? Not even in a suit.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Anyways, he does so much more for the Colorado Avalanche than just score points.
Yeah.
And he still scores a shit ton of points.
Yeah.
And it's like they need that guy back for the leadership, what he brings to the team if they have a chance, which they do. They have a loaded roster right now.
Yeah.
They have a chance to go very deep in the playoffs.
Yeah. I think they are I think they're my favorite out of the West.
Absolutely.
To make a run just based on their established core of like you've got Cale McCarty, you've got Nathan McKinnon. Marty Natchez is just going off. He's now has more points than Mikko Rantanen did.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And obviously he's playing with Nathan McKinnon, but still, like the team that they have, and then you add Landeskog in the mix of that, whether he's, slotting in third line, second line, like
it's insane.
No matter where it is, it's Landeskog. He's their captain. For a reason, he's been kept the C.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that would just make like an amazing cup run for them. I do think it's going to be the Avs and the Panthers, West and East.
That'd be awesome.
Coming out and
get
playing.
the fucking Canadian teams out of there. We don't want you.
They're not going to.
We don't want your revenue.
No. I mean, there's like, I think all Canadian teams are in the playoff spot right now or hunting for a playoff.
Let's see. Yeah. Montreal is in the playoffs now.
Yeah.
So I think Ottawa is like the only team that is not. Is that right?
Think
Ottawa is in.
Yeah.
There are no Vancouver, Calgary are both out of the wild card, but they're
not far.
The first and the second team out of the wild card.
Yeah, so that's
kind of insane. This
is
it. One of the best years for Canadian hockey fans in a long time.
The last time, I think it was 5 of the 6 Canadian teams. Last time that there was 5 Canadian teams that went to the playoffs was when the Canadians won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
See. However,
it does help. It helps teams like Boston, Pittsburgh, New York are missing this year.
Yeah, that's
when they've been a staple for the last 20 years.
But I mean, it's like, okay, Maple Leafs aren't going to go far. Like, sorry.
No. The trouble with the Maple Leafs, so are you a fan of the wild card system?
I've gotten used to it. I liked 1 through 8. But I've gotten so used to it now. It's just like, it makes sense to me.
I think they should go back to 1 through 8 because it really does fuck teams like Toronto.
Yeah.
Where normally if they're playing in a 1 through 8 system, they are, they're going to be 4th, so they'd be playing the 5th best team.
So Lightning.
I guess it'd be the same.
The same for them.
But still, like, they've been matched up with, They matched up with Florida in the first round last year.
Yep.
Florida, Boston, then like Tampa.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like you're playing some of the best teams in the NHL year after year, which, does help rivalries, but we get into kind of a groove where I think we're going to see Edmonton, LA again.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that for a 4th season in a row.
Yeah, I know.
It sucks for a team like LA because I think Edmonton probably wins that matchup.
Yeah.
And it just kind of fucks them. And it's like nobody wants to see that again.
No.
Frankly.
No.
It has not been overall a close series.
Mm-mm.
I think they go to 7 in the first series, then 6, then 5.
Yeah.
And it's like nobody wants to see that.
No. I think the team it hurts the most would be probably the Hurricanes because as of right now, Hurricanes are playing the Devils. And if they were in, well, I guess not really that bad. If they were to do 1 through 8, they'd be playing the Senators, who Florida would play now.
I just think it adds
Florida would play the Devils. So yeah, I guess it just doesn't really change. It's more of we see a lot of the same matchups.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue.
That I think was one of the reasons the NHL went to that format was to kind of spur rivalries.
Yeah.
But it's like before you had that, you still had rivalries, massive rivalries.
I'd rather them meet in the 3rd round.
Exactly. You don't want to see, because the problem I have with it, right? Tampa is one of the best teams in the league. Mm-hmm. They are one of the most entertaining teams in the league. They're a team that you want to see go far in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're playing another one of the best teams in the league in the first round of the playoffs.
Well, they do that either way, though.
It just, but year in, year out, like if you have one division that's fucking stacked.
Yeah. I guess this playoff picture isn't finished yet either.
It just, I don't know. It kind of bugs me with that. It's like you have Dallas, Colorado in the first round right now. Mm-hmm. Whereas if the format was not like that, Dallas would be 3 in the West, Colorado would be 4. So Colorado would be playing LA, Dallas would be playing Edmonton.
Yeah.
It's like, just get some different matchups in different times in the playoffs, especially the league's been at least a little bit stagnant recently with what teams have been making the playoffs, what teams haven't.
I think this is a new year, though.
It is with Winnipeg and like Minnesota, St. Louis, but the Pacific looks the exact same.
Yeah.
The Atlantic looks the exact same. The Metro looks pretty much the same.
Central, I'd say the West Coast definitely looks the same. I think the East Coast looks way different, though.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, okay, Atlantic, I guess it's just the Metro. Like the Capitals, and it's really just the Capitals.
The Capitals throwing everything off being the fucking best team in the NHL.
And even then, like,
who saw that coming? They're over Winnipeg now, which is crazy.
Yeah, they're the first team to clinch the playoffs.
Yeah, it's it's insane. Winnipeg has one more win.
Yeah.
Jeez.
They have more games played, though. That's why.
Wait a second.
They have one more game played, which I don't know why.
If Winnipeg wins out, they'd be the best team in history. No. Sorry, we talked about the last year.
Yeah.
Boston or last week. Boston had 65 wins.
Yeah.
That's insane. They're on pace. They could win 59 games this year. That's nuts. And Washington could win 59 as well.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
I mean, I think these playoff teams are all pretty like the Senators and Canadians are like not shocking, but like we've said, I mean, the Senators, I feel like, have not figured anything out for so long, and now they're on a pretty good heater. They're 7-2-1 right now.
Yep.
Montreal's 5-1-4, so they've lost 4 in shootout, but those are important points right there.
Yeah,
like, that's going to
absolutely this deep in the
definitely
season.
Make or break their playoff chances. And realistically, I mean, going down the list, you can go all the way down to Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh with 69 points, and the Canadians, who are on the second team right now, could be knocked off, has 75 points. So, I mean, truly anything can happen, and that Pittsburgh team could go from picking in the top 10 in the draft to
being in a playoff spot.
I don't see the Penguins really actually making it, or the Bruins in that wild card spot. But, I mean, the Rangers are only a point out of playoffs.
Yeah.
I think them Islanders, if the Red Wings can get hot because they're a couple games behind, I could see that there. It's just this Atlantic wild card, the Eastern wild card in general is insane.
Yeah.
Just how close it is. So
I find it interesting. There are some teams that in that Eastern Conference playoff hunt, the only team that's really been on fire as of late has been Ottawa, 7-2-1 in their last 10.
Mm-hmm.
Every other team has kind of been mediocre. Montreal is 5-1-4. They've gotten a lot of points out of that.
Yeah.
Out of those 10 games, that's missing out on 6 points out of 20.
Yeah.
But New York's 5-3-2. The Islanders are The Islanders are 5-3-2. The Rangers are 3-5-2. Columbus is 2-7-1. Detroit's 2-8-0. Boston's 2-7-1. And then you really start falling. Pittsburgh's a ways out. They're 5-3-2 in their last 10. And then you have, Philly is a ways out. They're 1-8-1.
Yeah.
It's it's almost like a race to see who doesn't want to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're all tanking this year.
Yeah, they are.
It's just interesting to see. It always is around this time of year.
Yeah.
Team like Detroit, they're only 5 points out, and they do have they're tied with Montreal and Ottawa in games remaining.
Mm-hmm.
They have more than New York, the Rangers. They have more than Boston. They have more than Pittsburgh. It's just interesting. It's really interesting to see it this time of year.
Yeah.
Was just looking. Sidney Crosby, 4 more points to set a Gretzky record.
Yeah.
Or beat a Gretzky record, which is insane.
Yeah. I think these next I mean, there's only 10 games left.
Yeah.
Some of the teams to watch are those ones that are on the bubble right now. Because those games are going to be just heated.
Yeah.
We saw last year, I mean, even the Red Wings barely missing the playoffs to the Capitals.
On the last game of the season.
Oh, dude, the comeback and the overtime win on that game, like, if you watch that, that was just prime hockey. So this is, I mean, realistically, this is kind of the start of playoff hockey for those teams. And before that, like, a lot of, like, the Senators, they've been playing playoff hockey for the last couple weeks.
Yep.
Like, just trying to muscle back.
It always does seem that way. It's like the first 60 games of the season, really till the All-Star break, trade deadline. It's like teams are just playing to keep in it.
Yep.
Right? You have the really good teams will always get way ahead. Washington, Winnipeg.
Yep.
Which is wild that we're saying that after last season.
Yeah.
They always get way ahead, but like really until the last 20, 30 games of the season, our team's like really going balls to the wall. Like, you know, fuck it. If I get hurt, I get hurt. We're gonna make the playoffs, right? Yeah. So it's always really interesting to see, but best time of year.
Best time of year. We're super excited, and we are excited for you guys to stick along with us for playoffs. We're still got to talk about like our schedule and stuff for what we're gonna do, but we'll be talking playoffs next week. We've got our own playoff game that we got to win first.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And then, so we'll have some good stuff. But be sure to like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok. Links are down below if you're listening. And, that's all I can really think of. Just honestly, my advice to all you guys listening is watch any team that's on the bubble right now that could potentially make the playoffs or could potentially be eliminated from playoffs on that bubble. Those are going to be the best games to watch because it's free playoff hockey, basically.
Also,
Extra
real quick,
hockey.
YouTube TV, you need to figure your crap out, right?
Yeah.
I pay $70-something a month for it. It's a lot of money. And you only broadcast nationally broadcasted games. How can we figure out a way to get like NHL Network involved in YouTube TV?
It's dumb.
They have MLB Network. They have NFL Network. They have everything.
Yeah.
They have NBA Network. They have, they have like Sports Center and stuff like that sometimes talk about hockey. But, and like if you get the nationally broadcasted games on TNT or ESPN, like that'll be on there.
I want to watch NHL on the fly, like
absolutely
on YouTube TV. Like that's all.
We got to figure that out, YouTube TV. So hit me up, let me see what we can do. I'll negotiate. I'll talk to NHL Network, say hey, like they want you. But we need to figure that out. Yeah. It's pissing me off.
It is. Yeah. No, I get that. I feel that. But, all right, everyone. Thanks for listening this week, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Peace.